Hey guys, it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is probably one of the most important videos I will ever do on this channel just because it hits so close to home for me, and it should for you too, despite the color of your skin. This is my way of speaking up about what's going on in the world. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a full face using only Black-owned beauty brands. So if you guys want to see how I came up with this look, and also we talk about a lot of important things in this video and bring light to a lot of what's going on right now. And if you want to hear my opinion, then keep on watching. I'm going to hop into this because we have a lot of new products to try, and I have a lot that I want to talk to you guys about. To start off this video, I'm going to be using the Vanessa Myrick Smooth Effects Refining Gel, and this is a primer with little gold specks in it. I just had to have it. There was no question about it. This claims to be a refining base infused with gold leaf to provide the skin with a smooth, poreless matte finish. And this is owned by Vanessa Myrick. Each product, I'll be mentioning not only the brand, but also the owner. From now on, I want to know not only what brand I'm supporting, but who I'm supporting. Next, to set my primer, I'm going to be using the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfecting Setting Powder, and this is in the color medium 3. And this claims to be a buildable, ultra weightless Luxe setting powder that imparts radiant perfection in 5 shades formulated to match any skin tone. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about are some really good films, documentaries, TV shows that you guys can watch to not only inform yourself about racism, but about specific cases and people. It may not be the most famous of people and the most famous of cases, but they're impactful. And their message is just so, it's hard stuff to watch, guys. I'm not even gonna lie, it's hard stuff to watch, but it's one of those things that we just have to educate ourselves on. All right, so the first film that I would definitely recommend seeing is When They See Us. The next one is For Life, Selma, and this follows Martin Luther King, part of his vision of how important voting is. The next one is The Hate That You Give, and this one is a little bit more modern. And then the last one that I would so recommend seeing, called Just Mercy. My mom thinks that this guy was actually related to my grandpa because he looks exactly like my grandpa. He's the same last name. He gets accused of murdering this white woman. So those are some really good films. Please just educate yourself. It's so important to know your facts, not only about Black culture, but about where you come from, because where people come from can explain so much as to why people are the way that they are. Next, I'm going to be using this Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation, and you guys know I love this stuff. This is in the color 420, and this brand is owned by Miss Rihanna. As I'm blending this in, I want to talk about what you can do, because this is not something that's trending. This is a movement, and this should stay relevant until real change happens. Like I said, you can educate yourself, watch those films, and what is so great right now is that a lot of cable providers are making these movies and stuff free so you can watch them. Hulu has a whole section of Black history and stuff like that. Sign petitions, donate. I would never forgive myself if I didn't speak up about this. So I did actually just do a cover of the song A Change Is Gonna Come. If you're not familiar with that song, it's actually the forefront of the civil rights movement, and I dedicated that song not to only George Floyd, but every other Black person that has died at the hands of police brutality and the brutality of this country. That's such a strong thing to say, but like the inequality and brutality that people face in this country, not just from police, but from other people. I mean, that guy that just got shot by those people when he was running. It's about police brutality, but it's about inequality at the end of the day. Next, I want to talk about, and I really don't want to make this political, but I want to tie this together because I feel like it helps bring the full picture together for me and what I stand for and believe in. I have never been a fan of Trump. Ever. I just don't agree with a lot of the things that he says. I don't like the things that he says about anybody that's not white. My dad is an immigrant. He is from England. He is very hardworking. He pays his taxes. He's a doctor. He's a great man. So I don't appreciate when he says degrading things about immigrants and people, because the Europeans took this land from Native Americans. Like, it was never ours to begin with. So when he says, and this just perfectly like ties into when he says, make America great again. America has never been great. May have been great economically at a time. I don't even know what the economy is like right now, But socially, it doesn't matter how great a country is, but if you have inequality and people, groups of people feel like they are not being represented and protected like other people, then like what's the point? How is that a great country? Explain it to me. This country was built off of slavery. Next, I'm going to be using this Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer, and I'm going to be using the color 10. I have the color 13 and 10, but I want to use 13 today. I love, love, love this concealer. This claims to be full coverage and blendable with just one application, evens and blurs out skin imperfections, and it's infused with amino acid treated pigments to help increase intensity of color without a heavy after feel. I just feel as though we have a president that is not, he's so concerned. And I mean, you can even look at his tweets. All of his tweets say something about Democrats, Republicans, blah, 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 blah. Like, why can't we just be people? This is not a political problem. This is a people problem, you know? And I feel like he is using this to divide people. That's not what a leader is supposed to do. A leader is supposed to bring people together, especially in times like this. We have a pandemic going on top of people being killed. It's crazy to me that he is trying to use this to capitalize, and I've not heard a positive word come out of his mouth. And it's funny because, correct me if he has said these words, not tweeted these words, but has he said Black Lives Matter? I'm going to blend this out. I've used this in like the past 6 videos. It's a little ridiculous, but I love this sponge. It's so amazing. Set aside all the political crap. Seriously, we can't set that aside for, you know, however long it takes to just fix what is wrong. George Floyd's murder, lynching, might I be exact, has more lashback and media coverage than when MLK was assassinated. I'm gonna go back in with this Pat McGrath powder to bake. A couple years ago, and I wish I wouldn't have deleted this. This is a tip to all you YouTubers, new YouTubers. Do not delete your old videos, because I wish I had so many of them to look back on. I actually did a video where I titled it Stop Killing Us, but it really affected me. It did. Colin Kaepernick had kneeled during the national anthem, and I remember there was a good period of time where I did not put my hand over my heart for the Pledge of Allegiance at school. Like I just would not do it. I sat down because here's my thing. It's not that we're trying to disrespect the people that have honored this country, because I mean, my grandpa was in the Army and my cousin was in the Air Force. It's not about that. It's about the fact that why are we going to pledge allegiance to a flag in a country that is not protecting people that look like us? There's this meme that just came out, and it has a side-by-side picture of Colin Kaepernick and the police officer that had his knee on George Floyd's neck, and that just, it's like you didn't have to write a paragraph to get what they were trying to say. It was that one sentence, and it hit differently than anything else. Blackout Tuesday on Instagram, the outpour of love and support for Black people and Black lives from non-Black people is just so amazing, and it shows that a change is gonna come. By the way, I love this powder already. I would say that this Juvia's Place setting powder is definitely a good dupe for it. They even kind of have the same undertones. They're very yellowy and gonna give you that brightened look. Next, we are going to be using this Ace Beauty Scarlet Dusk eyeshadow palette, but I also wanted to mention this eyeshadow palette because I intended to use this one, but I'm trying not to do just nude looks. She's a smaller brand. I tried to support a few smaller brands, and this is the Esther Beauty Essentials Genesis palette. This is what it looked like. It came cracked, that middle one, as you can see. So I wanted to mention this even though I'm not going to use it. I'm going to be using this palette, which I actually got in a BoxyCharm. While I talk, I am going to be using a shade. I'm gonna put that in my crease. There is a lot of people that love what Black people bring to the table as far as culture and style and music and all that stuff. But you're not gonna stand up for the people that, you know, created rap music and box braids and braids in general. Like, if you love the culture, then how hard is it to support the people that brought you the culture? I think that's why Martin Luther King was so successful in what he did, because he wanted to prove we are not going to stoop to your level. But that's what he stood for. So when he died and all those riots and lootings and everything broke out, I mean, his family put out a statement. This is not the answer. This is not going to make any change. We are not going to get the media coverage and the message across that we want to get across by using just simple violence. George Floyd's family put out the same statement. Violence is not the answer. And it's sad that only the violent protests are getting the coverage, because there's a lot of peaceful protests that are very effective. But there's also protests, peaceful protests, that have been caught on video being turned violent by police intervening, throwing tear gas on people and using rubber bullets. I just can't help but say, how is this a free country if when you're trying to protest and, you know, practice your freedoms that you're supposed to have, yet you're getting tear gas thrown in your eyes? There was a video of this man, black man, protesters and looters had destroyed his business. He said this is not the way, because it isn't. Okay, so next I'm going to take crimson and I'm going to put that on top of the crease color that I just put in here. Another thing I want to talk about is when people say, oh, racism is so much better than it was back in the day. And I'm like, girl, where have you been? Because the only difference between now and 30 years ago or 40 years ago or 50 years ago is the fact that we have cameras now. And they still did have footage back then of people being killed, yet we still have to beg our government to bring justice, yet y'all can throw an innocent black man in jail in 0.25 seconds. Okay, cute. I am going to take the color Hibiscus and I'm going to put that on my lid, and I'm going to use this Beauty Bakery setting spray. Next thing I want to talk about is the phrase itself, Black Lives Matter. There are a lot of people that are against the Black Lives Matter movement because they feel as though we're trying to discredit the lives of other people. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, and this is a really good analogy and it's super simple and I hope you get it. Say that there is a house on fire and there's kids in it and I mean it's just burning to the ground, right? You call the fire department because the house that's on fire needs help, right? Why would the fire department put water on the houses that aren't burning down? Because they don't need help. There's obviously a problem with ethnicity in this country. Like it's a clear divide. There's a lot of people who will openly say stuff not just about black people but about other people. Like I said, this country was built on immigrants. In a perfect world, of course all lives matter, but all lives aren't treated equally. When people use different excuses, well, I have a black friend. Okay, and the stuff that's coming out of your mouth is not making you sound like you have black friends. Well, you know, people grew up in a different time period. Okay, here's the thing. Let me give you the tea. If you lived through the civil rights movement, you should be even more of an advocate for treating all people the same because of how monumental that movement was. I mean, we're in a completely different movement right now, but you know what I'm saying? Have more experience than people who are my age and can treat everybody just fine. It's such a simple concept, yet like we make it so complex to just treat everybody with kindness and respect. Next, I am going to take the color Aruba and I'm going to put it in my inner corner just to give me that brightened look. I did a video probably a couple years ago where my mom and dad faced off, and my dad at the time was not a citizen. He is now. I'll put his picture in. I'm so proud of him. They did this challenge because if you didn't know, there's a lot of people, and statistics have shown that citizens who are born here cannot pass the test that non-citizens have to take. It was so important to him to be a citizen because he wanted to vote so badly. He wanted to have a say, and it's so sad, and he tells me all the time, it's so sad to him, and it will never make sense to him as to why people who don't have to basically pay for that right and work for that right, why they don't take advantage of it. Voting is the only way that things will change. Voting and educating yourself. He's been here for probably 30 or 40 years and hasn't been a citizenship. He's been here on like a green card or a permanent residency card. Okay, now I'm going to use this Woma baby hair brow pencil. I forgot what color I bought it in. I'll put it in here. And Woma is actually owned by Miss Sharon Shooter. Ace Beauty is owned by Naya Tang. I'm gonna do my brows and then I'll be back. Okay, so I did the brows. So next is powder. Okay, so this is the Iman powder, and this brand is owned by Iman Abdul Majid, and it's a little bit light, so I'm really not going to use that much. So next I wanted to talk about what I think has saddened me the most, and this is not just for like the Black Lives Matter movement, this is for life in general. People being killed should not be something that we are used to seeing. It should shake every single one of us to the core every single time someone loses their life. It should not be something that it's like, oh, well, there goes another one. You know, because when that happens, it's like, how many people have to die? Like, what number is big enough to scare people into the fact that there's something wrong? All right, so next, and y'all know I done goofed up. I can never do anything right. When I was researching, a website told me that this brand is black owned. It's actually owned by a man. I believe he's Palestinian, but he's still of color. color. This is the brand Carity, and it is owned by Isaac Rami, and this is the contour kit, and this is in the color, the second collection. So this is what it looks like. This is a highlight shade if you can't tell. It's super, super pretty. I am just going to lightly use this, the color Corey in the middle because it's the most warm to me. People who you look up to, whether that be YouTubers, celebrities, anybody that you look up to, if they did not participate in anything on social media or use their platform to spread awareness about this movement, I would definitely second guess who you're looking up to. Don't make no sense to me, but you know, what do I know? For blush, I'm going to be using this blush from Mented Cosmetics, and Mented Cosmetics is owned by Miss KJ Miller, and I'm going to be using the color Buried Away. It's the super, super purpley. Make it a point and make it like something that is important to you, that you know where you come from. We're going to use the highlighter out of this palette. It's a super pretty gold color. I don't know if you can tell. It's coming off real sparkly, but it is, and I'm like living for it. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. They didn't have to go off like that. They really didn't. And I wasn't sure what color eyeshadow I was going to do when I bought all this stuff, so I just opted for like a clear gloss. So this is the Fenty Beauty Glass Bomb in the color Glass Slipper. I love this applicator. It feels so nice on the lips. Oh, I'm living. Tell me why public lynching is just now a hate crime. I'm going to be using the Beauty Bakery, the Always Spray Your Sweet Grace baking spray, and Beauty Bakery is owned by Cashmere Nicole. Do you hear the sounds that just made? So I guess that wraps this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I will leave a bunch of different petitions that you can sign. If you want to donate money, go ahead and donate money. There is a whole bunch of people that did this exact video also, and they are donating all their AdSense to different organizations and stuff like that. So if you don't have money to donate, make sure you go check those videos out, because all you have to do is watch the ads and it's basically donating. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe, because we got to beat that YouTube algorithm, people. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.